it's true that we saw great growth in the last 18 months, and specifically in the last 12 months. And I think the big reason for that is focus as a fully beer and cider focused organization. Heineken took its own future in its own hands by the end of 2015. We already had 3 great brands, Heineken, Amstel and Windhoek. But we didn't necessarily have the service and sales organization behind those brands to capture their full potential. So what we did is we differentiated these 3 brands more. We increased investments, we invested in the sales force, improved our customer service, and when we saw these brands returning back to growth and the machine was working, we added more brands to our portfolio. Like Strongbow, like Sol, like Miller. We revitalized Tafel. We just launched Amstel Radler. We just launched Soweto in the Soweto community. And we actually acquired 2 craft brewers recently. So focus, investments, and doing the basic things right. Stellenbrouw has been on our radar for a while. We think Stellenbrouw is a very nice craft brand, and in general we love the growth of the craft business because it keeps the beer category very interesting. But we also think we have a right to play in that category. But the Stellenbrouw business is quite separate from the Heineken business. So the worst mistake we could make is integrate them fully into our existing models. They should stay separate, but the Heineken business can help them to gain funds, to have access to ideas all over the world and to our capabilities to enable those guys to grow that brand much faster. Well, I worked myself in many markets all over the world, and if I look to South Africa, I think 2 things come to mind. Actually 3 things. One is the enormous amount of choice that consumers have. If you go into a liquor store, you'll be amazed how many different products there are, and also the speed in which they come to the market. So the innovation rate is very, very high. I think that's one specific of the South African liquor industry. Second, it's quite competitive, which is good in general, because it keeps us on our toes. And the third thing I would say, it's the diversity of the market. You see very, very developed liquor stores, like the modern trade, but you also see still very traditional ways of consuming and also selling and distributing liquor. So Heineken made a deliberate choice to invest in South Africa. Keep in mind, we already had a position here. We already had three big brands. But why we see a lot of potential in this market is for a few reasons. One, this is one of the biggest beer markets in the world. I believe it's currently the 12th biggest market. It is also the 2nd biggest cider market in the world. And as you may know, Heineken is the biggest cider company in the world, and we are the number 2 brewer. And if you combine it with the fact that our market share when we started was only 10%, and South Africans love premium beers. For some reason they love the green bottles, relatively more than other countries. So if you combine all these factors together, South Africa was for us a very logical choice to invest in. South African people are pretty open to international brands. And as usual in most markets, the local brands form the majority of the market. But I think there's a healthy part of the market which is interested in international brands. And Heineken has so many brands to offer in that space. So we're very happy to play in that.